Alright, today we are talking about measures of temperature. And what I want you to do is go ahead and hit pause and copy this information down. So go ahead and do that. Alright, it says temperature, which is the measure of hotness or coldness. How hot or cold something is, that's temperature. Degrees would be the temperature scale. Okay? That would be the scale that we use for measuring the temperature. And that can be then broke down into two different types. One, the metric system, is Celsius, and that is the metric unit of measuring temperature. Some key notes that you need to know about Celsius is that freezing point water freezes at 0 degrees. Okay? And water then boils at 100 degrees. Now Fahrenheit, that is our customary unit of measuring temperature, and water freezes at 32 degrees compared to 0 degrees in Celsius. Boils at 212 degrees compared to the 100 degrees in the Celsius. Okay? If you want to take some time, you can go on to this mathsisfun.com /measure /thermometer.html. You can copy this link if you like and go on to it, and it'll do the conversions for you. So it's kind of a little different way of looking at those. And we'll try to attempt to do some of that in class as well to get a better feel for that. Alright, so what we're going to do, and I know that some of this might be off a little bit from my voice, from what I was saying. Some of that's because I had to redo some of this. So anyhow, choose the more reasonable temperature for each. So go ahead and do that, and we'll see what you come up with, which one makes the more sense. And again, remember it's saying hot soup. So go ahead and hit pause and do that. When we look at this, we're saying 0 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius. This is freezing, this is boiling. Okay? And since we're wanting hot soup, in the middle would be 50 degrees. Okay? And 50 degrees probably, is going to be warm soup. It's not going to be super hot. It's not going to be super cold either. But since it says hot soup, we're probably going to want to bring it to a boil and then back it off. So 90 degrees Celsius would be your more reasonable temperature for a hot soup because it needs to be hot. It needs to be closer to that boiling point. Let's take a look at this next one. A slice of warm apple pie. So go ahead and hit pause and see what you come up with for this. Well, when we look at warm apple pie, trying to decide whether it is 60 degrees, is that warm, is that cold, is 110 going to be too hot? If we look at 212 degrees Fahrenheit and 32 degrees freezing, 60 degrees is probably pretty cold because that's pretty close to this. 110 degrees Fahrenheit, that's going to be just right there, about the halfway point or so from 212 degrees. So my best answer for this is going to be about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. That's going to be your warm apple pie. Next one says, give a reasonable estimate of the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit in degrees Fahrenheit in degrees Celsius for each situation. So snowboarding. The temperature for snowboarding, what does the temperature need to be approximate when you're trying to do the snowboarding? What would be at a good temperature? So go ahead and hit pause for that, and you can also do playing basketball. Well, a good temperature in degrees for Fahrenheit would be this for snowboarding would probably be close to that freezing point. So we're going to say 32 degrees because you got to have it cold enough to freeze the snow to be able to snowboard. And obviously, in some regards, it can be a little bit warmer, as you know, after a snow, and the snow still be around but not be 32 degrees, but somewhere around this number. And obviously for Celsius, we want it to be 0 degrees because of the freezing temperatures. Okay, now playing basketball, or excuse me, baseball. Playing baseball, and estimated, when you're playing outside, again, it's the time of the year that you're thinking of when you're playing baseball. If it's during the summer months, then you're probably looking around between the 80 and 90 degree temperature. Okay, so I'm going to say around 80 degrees. Okay, anything between 80 and 90 is perfectly fine. Okay, and when you relate that to the degrees in Celsius, where 100 degrees Celsius is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, okay, 80 is going to be well below half of the 106 degrees for the halfway point. And when we have the 100 degrees Celsius, half of that would be 50 degrees. Okay, so if we're trying to compare 212 and we're trying to then compare to the half of that at 106 degrees, okay, then we need to be, this is about 26 degrees less, and this one is going to be less than, it has to be less than that 50 degrees. So I'm going to say probably around 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now what we're going to find out when we do this, and we'll do this in class tomorrow, is when we get on this using the tablets, and we're going to kind of get around some groups and go to this website, you're going to be able to discover some more of these and have a little bit better understanding as to what these are actually, these conversions should look like, and have a better guesstimation. I call it guesstimating because it is kind of a guess, but you're estimating these to get the best answer with some reasonability. Okay, so don't be frustrated with this if you were way off. We'll work with it more tomorrow, but this will give you a little better understanding of where we're going with all of this. So have a great night, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good day.